Okay, hello everyone. So here we go. So I did some basic measurements to see how much fabric we would need, or I'm going to use the word approximate fabric. When you go to the fabric store where you'll be getting your fabric, you can of course talk to the salesperson, and they will know how to give you the measurements you need based on whatever measurements you're using for your window. And remember, I'm using measurements for my window. So as we previously said, the finished valance width of my window was 51. In order for me to get my edges to be completely finished, I needed to add 1 inch. That's a half inch. That's a half inch for each edge of my window. So I added 1 inch, which gives me the total of 52 inches that I will need cut in width for each valance. Okay, so again, finished it will be 51, but we have to allow an inch so that we can put a half inch at each end to make the edges look really nice and finished. Okay, so that's the total of cut fabric, 52 in width. Okay, then when we go to the length, that's this way. Of course you guys know that anyway. So the length finished was 16 inches, remember, but then we need to add 5.25 plus another 0.5, and here's how I got the 5.25. I measured from here all the way to here, and if you put a ruler there, I came up with 5.25. So I had to add this amount to my length in order to be able to fold this over later, and I'll explain that why we need that extra 5.25 later. The extra 0.5 that I have here is how we're going to finish the end of our fabric, because we're going to turn it up after we make our edges look pretty. So see how you don't see the raw edges of my fabric? And raw edges, just so you know, this is the fabric I'm going to be using at least for 2 of my panels. This is considered your raw edges, because as you can see, it's not finished yet. When we complete this project, they'll look really pretty and the edges will be finished. That's also a raw edge because nothing has been done to it yet, but I'll get back to that later. So again, I added 5.25 to the total length of our valance, because we're going to eventually flip that over, and then I added 0.5 so that we can turn it up at the edge. So hopefully that gives you an idea of the amount of fabric. So what I did was I went ahead and I picked out my fabric that I'm going to be using for at least 2 of my valances. And as you can see here, I actually have a little more than a yard of fabric, which is the total of this fabric is 58 inches. But as you know, like I said, we only need 52 inches of it. So I'll make adjustments, and you'll have to do the same thing. You'll have to make some adjustments for the fabric because your window measurements may be different. And then as you can see, what I did is I took my ruler and I measured the length of my fabric. I think I said it in reverse before. So this is width. This is the width of my valance, and this is the length of my valance. And the length cut, we needed 21.75. And if you look here, you can see this fabric is exactly 21 and a half, which means technically I don't have enough of this, but it's okay because the only thing I can do is just make my length just a little shorter by about a half inch. And this is what you will have to do. You'll have to make adjustments for your fabric based on the length and width you want to use. And the reason I said this is 2 valances is because I folded it in half. So I'm actually going to make 2 valances out of this one piece of fabric. I hope I'm explaining it so that you guys understand. If not, you can always Google measurements, which is what I do a lot. I do it off the top of my head now because I've made them many times before, but I want to give you guys good instructions. So again, this is just one piece of fabric that I'm using for my 2 valances. I am going to be making 4. I just haven't decided what other fabric I want to put inside of this fabric to make it 4 panels or valances. Okay, so hopefully this helps, because we're going to start sewing after this, or at least I'm going to start cutting, making adjustments for my fabric after this. So please visit my website, BustaWraps, BustaWraps.com, BustaWraps.com. Thanks a lot, guys. Bye bye.